BCS. You won't believe what some of us have been through. BCS? Well, that's a great segue into my story time. So last night, I'm going to be honest. Last night, I overdosed on magic mushrooms. Let me just put it simple. So I was watching Better Call Saul, BCS, Better Call Saul. And every time I watch the new episodes, I like to do a miniature dose of mushrooms. It's fun. I love my favorite drug. So anyway, yesterday I took a little bit too much, and I ended up having a little bit of an experience. All right, so let me talk about Better Call Saul. I watched Better Call Saul, and then I watched a couple of movies, and so I stayed up until like 3 a.m. So anyway. Latest episode, I think it was like episode 5 now of season 6. Man, I'm telling you, I am so in. Like, I'm trying to remember the plot, but like also like I was tripping pretty. I was like kind of losing it throughout this. I kept thinking. Okay, so first of all, I kept thinking while watching Better Call Saul, there's commercials because I'm watching the live premiere on a cable network, so there's commercials. And I kept thinking that, like, the commercials were, like a fucking, like, a sketch. Like, I kept thinking that the commercials were, like, a comedy show. And I couldn't... I was losing it. Okay, so it would go from, like, the show, where there's, like, a story unfolding, and then it cuts to, like, some guy walking around, like, in the middle of the street and, like, almost getting hit by a car, and then the car is like, our brakes work. And I'm like, motherfucker, I hope your brakes work. I don't drive cars. I don't know much about cars. But like, why is an advertisement on television advertising that their car has functioning brakes? Shouldn't that just be a standard feature in all cars? Shouldn't all cars have functioning brakes? Why is that a selling point? Oh yeah, buy our car. We have brakes. Anyway, I don't want to, this is not talking about the commercials, but if anyone watches the premiere, I don't know if the ads are targeted. I watch it on AMC Plus. I'm not sure. But anyway, that's crazy. But okay, so the episode was phenomenal. All right, favorite moments. The one in the screen grab when Kim is arguing about like, I don't know, like, it's just showing her doing a case or whatever. I thought that was cool, super cool. The Kim story, in my opinion, this season has been very well teased, right? And at the end of the episode, like, Kim kind of like breaks, right? And I'm very excited. Next week, I believe, is the quote mid-season finale, I believe. And so now again, we know that Kim Wexler is not in Breaking Bad. She did not exist in the Breaking Bad universe. She has 0 seconds on the screen, right? And we know that this is the last season of the prequel. And now, right, as of the last episode of last night, she's like in perpetual meltdown mode. Like the Kim anxiety, right? Like, has been really well done. Like, where she's like, every time she's on screen, she's either like smoking or drinking or like, is like twitching in like a really subtle way. And I think it's really good. Anyway, so that anxiety's building. I'm super into that plot line. With the Howard revenge, I'm super into it. But then also my second favorite part of the episode is when Mike is watching his family through the window, because he told his family he's like out of town or whatever because of all the crime stuff he's doing. He's a criminal. He's a goddamn criminal. That motherfucker. Goddamn crime doesn't pay. Anyway, so he's watching his family and talking to them on the phone. He doesn't, they don't know he's watching through the window, but I thought that was adorable. That shit, I was like, I was literally I was about to cry. I was like, oh my God. Keep in mind, I'm on drugs when watching this, right? I'm having my own kind of like emotional turmoil while I'm trying to like keep my eyes on the screen. Like me when I'm doing shrooms and I'm having like, like I'm getting into the heavy part of the dose, right? And I'm like, like a lot of the times I'll be like moving around, like, and I'm like, so like I was like holding my head, I was holding my head at the screen, like, because I was like, all right, there's a television show. I'm watching a television show. I was losing it. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I was in fact losing it, a little bit, but I was watching the show. All right, so there's another scene as well, the one where Lalo had like a big scene in the last week's thing, but then now his plot line is continuing. That whole like interaction he had with one of the German workers that was working on Gustavo's hole. It's good. It's good. I mean, that was a good scene. It's good. I don't know, like this is like I'm just really into the show. I mean, the building, the bubbling, it's all really good, right? And you know the what's the other scene I liked? Where they're goddamn like doing the fucking college kids that are like played by like 38-year-old actors or whatever. Like they do not look like they're in college anymore. But anyway, that's when they were doing the fake photos, right? Trying to set up, you know, the scam, so forth. That was really fun. It was a good episode. You know, I'm loving the long drawn out story plots. And next week's episode, I feel like they kind of set this one up so that next week is going to be a banger, right? And I'm excited. So anyway, that's my review of last night's ep. It was a good ep. I was really into it. I was also like freaking the fuck out while this was happening, while I was watching television. And again, the commercials, the commercials were fucking with me. I kept thinking it was like a Mr. Show sketch or something. And I was like freaking out, like why? Like I can't with commercials. When I'm on Shrooms, I can't do commercials. Like, wow, commercials are crazy. Anyway, it was a great app, so I'm in. Consider me all the way in. And I'm excited for the mid-season finale. Like, what a phrase that is, by the way. The mid-season finale? Okay, but I'm in. Consider me in. Call-in shows are lame. Only 10% of callers get through, if that, and then they drop your call because time constraints when the show is over. After you've been waiting. I agree. That's the thing. If I were to do a call-in show, I would not do that. Like, if I were to do a call-in show, like, it would have no rules. Like, yeah, because, like, I remember trying to call into the Majority Report, and then I'm on hold, right? And then, like, that's the thing. Like, Majority Report, like, their call system, I don't know if they've changed it at all, but, like, as of a couple years ago, their call system it's torture. Like, I mean, shout outs to people that call into that show. That is torture. Because one, right, let's say you have something to call in about, right? You have to then listen to the show on the phone, right? Because there's a delay. There's like a 30-second delay, right? So if you watch on the YouTube stream and they answer you on the phone, they're not going to wait 30 seconds for you to catch up, right? So you have to listen to the show on the fucking garbage can fucking phone network where like 90% of the time they don't have all the microphones set up on the phone, so you're just hearing like fucking like Emma or like just one of them talk, and then they're just like talking to nobody, and it's really awkward and it's just horrible to listen to, right? So then you go to the YouTube stream, right, to watch the show, and then they answer you on the phone, but you don't realize it until it's too late, and then they hang up on you. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. That shit gives me anxiety. Like that is a nightmare, man. I don't know if they fixed it since the last time I tried to call in, but that shit is crazy. That shit is fucking crazy. I mean, like, you can hear the whole show on the phone now. But then it's also like, I don't want to listen to the show on the phone because it's like horrible quality. Right? I remember I was like, when I first tried to call into the Majority Report, it was like, I don't know, 2019 maybe, I don't know. And it's like, I don't want to listen to the whole show on the phone, like, for 2 days straight. I got bored. Like, honestly, I got bored. Like, it's horrible quality experience. It's like the worst thing in the world. It really is. So anyway, I would learn from that lesson and do everything not that way. Like that experience, right, is so horrible. I would try extremely hard. If I were to do a call-in program of any kind, to make it as unlike Majority Report as physically possible, because that is a torture simulator, right? Their phone call-in system is like it should be unconstitutional. Honestly, it's cruel and unusual punishment. Yeah, I'll come up with a call-in system one of these days. One of these days. Alright, so, let me continue my story time. So, I overdosed on mushrooms. By that I mean, like, there's multiple thresholds, right? You know, anyone that is familiar with the mushroom might know this, but... So, when I like watching, like, TV or movies or something... You know, it depends. You know, like for Better Call Saul, I want to be able to follow the plot, right? It's not like I'm just turning on like a fucking random movie or whatever and it's just like watching shit on the screen, right? I have not seen The Exorcist on Shrooms yet, but that's planned. Anyway, so after Better Call Saul is over, I'm like, all right, I'm going to watch a movie, right? Like I'm just, fuck it. I'm going to watch a movie. And so what movie did I watch? So, I'm coming down, I'm like, maybe, like, I'm on the come down, let's just put it that way. And I decide to watch The Butterfly Effect 2. So, I watched the first one of these movies a couple days ago, week ago, I don't remember. And HBO Max, now I just want to say, my experience, like, I saw that this movie was on there, because, like, it was in the recommended feed, but then when I so I added it to the list or whatever, and I was like, okay. Now I love really shitty sequels. I love it. Like Wrong Turn is a great example. Like you ever see the Wrong Turn sequels? Like who among us has seen Wrong Turn 4? Wow. What a movie. Wrong Turn 4. Okay. Final Destination. I think Final Destination does, like, a really good job of, like, it's the same movie, right? Like, all 5 of them are the same movie, right? But I think they do a decent job of changing it up, right? So I'm thinking, all right, is this going to be, like, a Final Destination, Butterfly Effect 2? I don't know. So anyway, first of all, I want to say that the first movie, it's okay. Like, we're starting on a movie... It's okay. Like, we're not, like, it's not a masterpiece, the first movie. Right? By any means. But it's okay. This movie is like everything from the first movie, but worse. Now, does that mean it's a bad movie? I don't know. Whatever. So anyway, so this movie, right, so you already know the concept. He's going to go back in time. He's going to fuck it up. So how do they make a movie where you already know the plot interesting? Well, the answer is you don't. You just try your best. So the character in this movie, right, like he goes back in time by looking at photos, right? So he's like celebrating his girlfriend's birthday, he takes photos, and then like he gets into a car crash and all of his friends die. He's the only survivor, his girlfriend's dead, blah, blah, blah. Right? So then he like lives a year, he's in a coma, he wakes up, he lives like a year, he's depressed, he's like drinking, he's fucking, I'm depressed, bro. I mean, I would be depressed too if all my friends and family died, right? So that's crazy. And so then he's like, he's taking a trip down memory lane, he's looking at some old photos, and then, then the butterfly effect. So then now we're in the movie, right? So we're in the movie, all right, he's back in time, it worked. And then he manages to save his friends, right? He wakes up back in the future, and he's like, oh, my girlfriend's alive, my friends are having a great time, right? Like, wow, he's got it all. Just like the first movie, like the formula is like identical to the first movie, right? And again, like, it's the same thing with like Final Destination or like Friday the 13th or like Nightmare on Elm Street. I love, like movies that have, like, way too many sequels, just because it's fun. Like, it's fun to put something on, you already know the plot, like, it's decent of a concept, right? You just put it on just to see how they do it. I think that's cool, right? I'm into it. I like Scream has great sequels, you know. I'm into it, okay? But anyway, so then, right, he his boss at work or whatever is like a prick. And he's thinking, all right, so I realized I can travel back in time. Now, I've got it all. My boss is a prick, so whatever. But I got it all. Right, my girlfriend's alive. My friends are happy. We're good. But then he gets greedy, right? Because that's the point of the movie. Otherwise, it would just be like, oh, he went back in time once. Now he's feeling pretty good, and now he's just chilling. Then the movie's over. This isn't like a fucking 10-minute movie. This is a movie, right? So you got to go back in time to fuck it up. So he goes back in time. He fucks it up. Right? So he goes back in time and he tries to like fuck with his boss before he becomes his boss, like when he's just his coworker. And then he goes back into the future and now he's like the vice president of his company or whatever. But all of his friends are fucked up. Like his friends are like poor and like, you know, getting bullied by like some mob or something. I don't even really know what the fuck. Like an investor in his like company, he works for like a startup or something, the main character. And an investor in the startup like kills the workers because like he didn't get paid back. The logic is strange. Okay. So he works for a startup, right? And then he fucks with his boss. He goes back in time to fuck with his boss and then he becomes the boss, right? But then, you know, becoming the boss results in his girlfriend breaking up with him and oh, boo-hoo. So anyway, but then his friend is like held hostage, okay? By like an investor, quote unquote, who wanted his money back. So he signed a contract investing in the startup. And the contract is like a paying back timeline or whatever. But this investor's like also like a mob boss or something. So he kills like his friend and then like kidnaps him. And it's like, what? Like, it makes no sense. Why is a mob investing in this guy's startup? That's never explained, right? It's just like, what? Okay, but okay. You need something, right? You need something in the movie. So let's make a random investor in the startup some crazy ass bitch. All right, I'm in. So anyway, like there's a shootout in this nightclub or whatever it is, like, and then like his girlfriend dies. She's there, but they're broken up. I don't even know. It doesn't make any sense. But anyway, so then he's like trying to go back in time, and this part was like the coolest part of the movie. So he has like his cell phone, which, you know, it's like 2006 this movie was made, so it's like a flip phone, right? And he's like looking at a photo on his cell phone, like while there's like a shooting going on, while this like investor is trying to like kidnap him or something. Okay, it doesn't make any fucking sense. But anyway, so he's looking at the phone, like the butterfly effect thing is happening, like the screen's going. I just want to say, like, both in the first movie and this movie, the effects are good. Like when the time travel thing is happening, like when the screen is like, you know, fading in and out and like all the things, like that part's cool. Okay. Like I'm like the effects of that particular thing. Some of the other effects, not so good, but that particular thing, they nailed it, right? So he's in this, like, bathroom, hiding from, like, gunfire from this investor who wants to kill him for some reason. It doesn't make any... Right, and he's looking at the cell phone, he's trying to go back in time, but then they subvert the narrative, they subvert the trope, because then they catch him before he can go back in time, and he wakes up as, like, he's waking up in I don't even know how to describe that scene, just watch the movie. So then he like has to run away from being kidnapped to then go back. I thought that was cool. It's a good subversion. You know, it's like, oh, you can't, like, it's not that easy to go back in time, like under time constraints, right? Okay, so I'm into that. That's good. Why the investor wanted to kill him for some reason makes no sense at all. They could have worked on that, right? But that part, okay. So then he goes back in time. And so then, like, he tries to, like, break up with his girlfriend or whatever, because, like, you know, he doesn't want to kill her or get her killed because he realizes that, you know, he's fucking things up. And then they get into a fight, and then, like, she, like takes the car. By the way, like, what a bitch. So, like, he, and, like, drives his girlfriend and their two friends to, like, this, like, you know, park or whatever. So then he gets into, like, an argument with his girlfriend, and the girlfriend just steals the car. Like, regardless of, like, you're just leaving your other friends stranded. That's a bitch move. Like, I'm sorry, that's fucking crazy. So anyway, then the main character steals another car, and then just, like, tries to chase her, ends up killing himself, and then the movie's over. I was like, okay. Like, is this movie worth watching? Probably not. But again, I I like unnecessary sequels. I am so in to unnecessary sequels. I'm also in to like a formula that like Final Destination's a great example of like they have a formula. You know the plot of every movie. Like when you watch Final Destination 2, you know all the plot. You know how everything's gonna end. They're all gonna die, right? But it's still, it's enjoyable. This is not Final Destination 2. This is a really bad sequel. But if you like really bad sequels, because I do. I like really bad sequels. So I'm in. If you like bad sequels, I would watch this. Andrea, do you like foreign horror? Absolutely. Feel free to suggest anything. But anyway, I'm aware that there's a Butterfly Effect 3, but it is not on HBO Max or any other streaming service that I own. So I will not watch that until it is on one of those services. But again, first movie, not great. Pretty cheesy. Definitely significantly better than this one, I must say. Right? This is definitely not Final Destination 2. So, that's my review. But I'm into... But I, like, just the concept that there's unnecessary sequels, I'm into it. Like, I like watching bad movies. I like watching... again, one of my favorite series is Wrong Turn. Right? You have Wrong Turn, good movie. You got Wrong Turn 2. If anyone has seen Wrong Turn, you know what I'm talking about, okay? You got Wrong Turn 3, which is like... And then you got Wrong Turn 4, which is like... And then you got like Wrong Turn 5, which is like... You know what I mean? So, realign. The only reason I would watch horror movies are for Booba. They don't scare me? Well, first of all, I don't know why Booba would scare you. Second of all, there is Booba in Butterfly Effect 2, so add it to your list, Realign. But I love it. Like, I'm into unnecessary... Like, I love it. Like, I just want to be very clear. I love bad sequels. I love bad movies. I love it all. I love, like, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. Those are the classics. You got Halloween, right? One of those, like, series that I haven't explored enough is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I want to watch more of those unnecessary sequels. Some of them I've heard are decent. But, like, for me, like, I love it. Like, Scream has a great series of sequels. Like, and by great, again, like, it's all relative. It's all relative. And I mean that, like, I have the same opinion on, like, video games as well. Like, I love Mega Man. Even the bad ones. I mean, I think the, like, floor quality, like, the worst Mega Man game is still, like, better than most games. But, like, I love sequels. I love when you have a formula and you just, like, run with it until the cows come home. I'm super into it. I'm a movie snob. There's no accounting for taste. Yeah, I'm not a movie snob. I love movies. I've been really getting into the cinema universe lately. And I love bad movies. I love good movies. I love mediocre movies. I'm into it. I'm super into it. So, there you go. Butterfly Effect 2. Eh. But then, now, I wanna carry you through my night last night. Okay? So, last night, did Shrooms, and then while I was doing that, I also consumed various cannabis products. Now, it's a combination that I don't recommend because it's irresponsible, whatever. So don't do it. Don't do drugs, kids. But anyway, so I combined both of those things. And so, to those that are cannabis consumers, connoisseurs, you might be aware that you get hungry. Now, there's like a unique, like mushrooms, when I'm doing mushrooms, it's really hard for me to sleep. Like, I've been able to sleep like 3 hours after consumption, right? But it's really hard for me to get to sleep. But then, so that combination of can't sleep because of the mushroom, plus really hankering for the munchies because of the weed, resulted in Taco Bell. So I got some Taco Bell last night. And when you go to Taco Bell, you need to get the Baja Blast. I mean, it's not up for debate. It's written in the United States Constitution. It's like national treasure. You gotta like use the special glasses, like a national treasure. You get the special glasses, and then all of a sudden it says, when you're high, you gotta get Taco Bell in the Constitution. So anyway, so I got Taco Bell. And, when you get Taco Bell, you have to get the Baja Blast. That's in the Constitution. It's there. Trust me. Just look for it. Okay. So I get the Baja Blast. And you might know, that shit's got caffeine in it. So now we've got the combination. Okay. So, mushroom, can't sleep. Weed, I'm hungry. Caffeine, I'm staying up. Home, has anyone noticed that on this daily show we hear a different drug story every time? Anyway, so okay, hear me out. So, I'm staying up. I'm finishing Butterfly Effect 2. And I'm like, you know what? It's midnight. It's like 12 something, 12:30. I just drank a fucking large Baja Blast. Let's watch another movie. So I watched. But I gotta turn this whole thing into like the individual movie reviews and then the full segment because this is story time. Anyway, so after watching Butterfly Effect 2, I watched Mimic. Is another series on HBO Max that I know that there's sequels. Like again, I'm really into watching movies like where it's a series of unnecessary sequels. Now I haven't seen Mimic 2 or 3 yet. I don't know anything about them. But I know that they're there and that made me want to watch the first one. So I watched Mimic. Okay? So I watched Mimic. Now, okay? This movie, not bad. It's not bad. Now, there's a lot of things in it that I question. There's a lot of plot that's like, Alright, so, Mimic. You might not know what this is. Okay. So, cockroaches are like killing kids or something, right? They've got like a disease in them, and there's a pandemic, and the CDC, very realistic CDC, by the way, in this movie. None of the CDC officials wear masks anywhere. So, very realistic, right? They all do the worst things possible in containing the pandemic, right? That tracks with the real world. So the CDC is inept and garbage in this movie, and that's the core concept of the plot. So anyway, so the cockroaches are killing kids or something, I guess. And so what does the CDC do? Oh, they have a great idea. Let's use gene splicing. Now, this movie was made in, I think, like 97 or some shit. So, like, that was cool in the 1990s. Oh, we're going to splice genes. So they make, like, a super bug that, like, kills all the cockroaches or something. But it's, like, they kind of do, like, what they did in, like, Jurassic Park. Where it's like, oh, we're going to make all the bugs female so that they can't, like, breed or whatever. But then they do anyway, because, why not? So anyway, so they release these super bugs that are designed to die out after one generation because they supposedly can't breed. They kill the cockroaches, they end the pandemic. Great. That's the first 10 minutes. Then there's 3 years later. and some like old guy is like jumping off a roof being chased by some dude in a trench coat. But wait, the dude in the trench coat is actually a bug. He's a giant human-sized bug, and that's the point of the movie. Now again, I just want to say, okay, now this might sound weird, but I'm going to start this with this. Right away after the old guy jumps off the roof, the next characters to die are kids. Any movie that kills kids, I'm in. It doesn't matter anything else about the movie. None of it matters. If a movie kills kids, I like it. Now, let me explain, okay? Hold on. I know, don't take this out of context, okay? Hear me out. Let me drink some seltzer here. All right. So then kids find this bug and like show it to like the bug lady who made the super bug or whatever. And then she's like, oh shit, this looks like the bug I made 3 years ago. What the fuck? That's crazy. Right? And then she asks the kids like where they found it, and the kids go look for more. And then the mimics end up killing the kids. I was shocked. I'm not going to lie to you. I was shocked. Okay? Like, you don't see that often in movies, and that's why I say any movie that kills kids, I'm into it because it's bold, right? It's they're not caring. A lot of movies really the kid always survives. Every time that there's like a slasher movie, the kids are fine, right? Like, so any movie where the kids die, and especially the kids are like the first victims, like the kids die in like the 25-minute mark or something, right? Like, so I'm like, oh shit, I'm in. Okay. So they're in the subway and like they're looking for the bugs, and then the mimics kill the kids. It's great. So like in a way, right, the bug lady kind of got kids killed, right? Like, you know, not only for creating the bug in the first place, but then telling them to go look for more bugs, right? So anyway, so the kids get killed, but then they, you know, the CDC people, because the lady works for the CDC. And her husband also works for the CDC or whatever. So they're on like a tag team mission to go look for these bugs, right? And then they go deep in the like abandoned parts of the New York subway, and try to look for bugs. And then they find them. They get stuck down there. It's a classic kind of stuff like that. Very simple. Now I want to say that there's a lot of combination between practical and CG effects in this movie. And the CG looks kind of bad, but the practical looks pretty good. And so, like, whatever. But there's this one scene, like the first scene where the mimic, like, you see the full body of the mimic. Like, it goes from, like, some dude in a trench coat to, like, a big-ass super bug. Wow. That shit was horrible. Like, I'm just saying, like, the effects were terrible. But I was into it. Like, again, I like bad effects. I'm super into it. I prefer practical. For me, like almost 100% of the time, I'm into practical, right? Like if every movie banned CG, I would be okay with that. I think practical effects are superior in every fashion. That said, bad CG is fine, whatever, it's all good. So anyway, so the super bugs basically are infesting this underground subway, and the CDC people are like, oh shit, they're gonna get tracked over all across the country from all these like subway train tracks, all whatever, okay. So they try to kill them all. They try to do like, I don't even know what their plan is. Their plan really is just to get the fuck out of the subway. So like they don't really have a plan to kill them. Their plan is just to fucking get the fuck out of the subway because they get trapped down there. So that's really the whole movie, is like dodging these guys and trying to get the fuck out. And so they do that, right? They get out. They save a lost kid who's in the subway too. That's another plot point. And then, like, one of the guys, like, sets the whole there's, like, a gas pipe in this abandoned underground subway, and he sees a bunch of eggs and mimics, so he's like, let me just crack open this gas pipe with a pipe, like, with another, like, a lead pipe sitting on the floor, and then, like, explode. Like, he, like, creates a spark and explodes. Somehow he survives. Now, I just want to say, I don't know. I don't know how the fuck he survived. What he did was he released natural gas, right? Natural gas, right? It's not natural, but anyway. Well, I mean, everything is natural. The word doesn't mean anything, but anyway. Into this underground subway, right? And then, like smashes, like, something on the floor, like, creates, like, a spark. and somehow, like, then the entire underground subway and the subway itself blows up. Somehow he survived. I don't know how. I don't, like, it's a movie, right? It's like, it's not real, and this was all made up. Like, someone wrote down a movie. This is not based on real events at all. So I guess it's okay if he survived. I mean, it's, you know, mimics and, like, these giant bugs also don't exist, right? So whatever. But anyway, the scene where he blows up the underground subway to kill the mimics, right? Anyway, all the manholes across New York City have, like, fire erupt out of them, and, like, the whole city, like, looks like it got hit by a terror attack, where, like, manholes are flying, or, like, cars that are driving on the street, like, over manholes, like, get blown up into the air and fly all over the fucking... Like... Great job. You killed a bunch of people above ground, but also you killed all the mimics. So, you know, trolley problem kind of stuff. Anyway, the movie is okay. It's like, you know, it's like a slasher kind of stuff, but like, you know, with a non-human opponent. It's good. I'm into it. I know that there's sequels. I'm probably going to watch the sequel, so I'll report back on if they're unnecessary or, you know, I hope they're not like Butterfly Effect 2, but also part of me hopes they're like Butterfly Effect 2. So... there you go. Mimic. It's good. It's good. I'm into it, so there you go. NC primaries today. There's a couple progressives, but you know, I don't live there, so I'm not voting for any. The sequels to Mimic are so bad, I'm in. Count me in. I am in. So anyway, that was my night last night. And, no, I do not need an intervention. Thank you. Another movie with unnecessary sequels, Cube. I gotta watch Cube again. Like, Cube... The first Cube, damn, that's a movie. That's what I call a movie. Cube 2, okay. Cube 3, aka Cube Cubed. Honestly, I thought Cube Cubed was definitely better than Cube Squared. But still, where can I watch Cube? I want to watch that shit. What? What the fuck? Cube is just on YouTube for free. Are you kidding me? What? Whoa! Cube is just on YouTube for free, folks. Let's watch fucking Cube. That's the show. It's over. It's done. It's done. Real quick. So, sometimes when I do shrooms, right? I get, like, obsessed with, like, touching my teeth with my tongue. Now, if anyone else has experience with shrooms, like, let me know if you do the same. I'm very curious. But, like, I remember, like, I was freaking, I thought, like, this is something that happened yesterday during Better Call Saul. Okay, so I'm like, I twist my tongue. You know when you do this? Like your tongue is sideways, right? But then, like, when you touch your teeth with your tongue, when it's sideways, you feel, you know, it's still the top of your tongue. So in your brain, right, you feel as if, like, your mouth is, like, rotated, right? And so I was, like, obsessed with, like, doing that. And I genuinely thought that my mouth had rotated 90 degrees at some point. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with that story. That's the show. Y'all have a good night or day or whatever. I will see you all tomorrow.